Hey guys, welcome back to another episode of Simulio. So, today, we're going to do something kind of interesting. I'm going to try doing something just a little bit off the beaten path of what we normally do. Here's the idea. Let's go to Google. Let's look up something called Euclid's Orchard. I think is what it's called. I hope that's right. Yes, there we are. Euclid's Orchard. Okay. Here's the idea. In mathematics, informally speaking, Euclid's orchard is an array of one-dimensional trees, this guy over here, of unit height, planted at lattice points. Oh, sorry, I was looking at the wrong one. But anyway, in one quadrant of a square lattice, okay? So we have basically a square of trees, okay? More formally, Euclid's orchard is the set of line segments, ij0, ij1, where ij are positive integers. Okay. The trees visible from the origin are those at lattice points m and 0, where m and n are coprime. Okay? Where the fraction mn is in reduced form. So what does this mean? This is incredibly cool, by the way. It just completely blew my mind when I realized this. Okay. We have 0, 0 down here. Alright? And the only trees that are visible in this simulation are the ones that cannot be reduced further. So 1/6, 1/5, 1/4, 1/3, 1/2, 2/3, 3/4, 4/5, so on and so forth. Okay, so how do we do this? We say over 1, up 2. Wait 1 second. I think I may have thought about this incorrectly. But yeah, let's see how we do the movement real quick. But basically, guys, this guy, 2/6, can be reduced to 1/3, so it's invisible, and it's actually behind 1/3. This guy, 2/4, can be reduced to 1/2, and it's behind 1/2. 3/6, same thing. 4/8, same thing. 4/6 can be reduced to 2/3, and it's behind 2/3 in the simulation. So basically, once we have the reduced fraction, we can visually see how to compress it into its reduced form, which would be 1/2, 1/3, so on and so forth. It's actually incredibly interesting. I'm really looking forward to trying this one out, trying to visualize this one, because I'm actually super impressed by this. It's really quite interesting how this works. And so anyway, let me go ahead and see if we can get this visualization up. Let me go ahead and scroll out a little bit. I'm super excited about this. So if the orchard projected, 1 second, relative to the origin on the plane x plus y equals 1, okay, or equivalent drawn in perspective from a viewpoint at the origin, the tops of the trees form a graph of Thomae's function, which would be this guy over here. Oh gosh, that's a horrible image. Something like this. Anyway, there's a whole bunch of cool stuff here. I just really wanted to try it out, mess around with it a little bit. This might turn into just a quick, short video on YouTube or something. I don't know. Anyway, point is, we have to do a couple different things here. So, let's just go ahead and get started, I guess. But there's one thing, I just realized something. One corner of the Euclid's orchard, in which trees are labeled with the x-coordinate of their projection on the xy plane. Let me see, what do we have here? Labeled with their x co-coordinate. So I guess let me see if I can figure out how these guys are labeled down here real quick. So we have, I know it's gonna be kind of blurry, but we have, let's see, 1/2. So this is gonna be 1, and 1 plus 1, 2, and 2 plus 2, 2 plus 3. Okay. So I guess we just add the x and y together for the denominator. Maybe that's what we have to do. Yeah, I guess we add x and y together for the denominator, and the numerator is going to be just x. Yeah, that looks about right. Yeah, that's about right. So anyway, it's incredibly cool. So I'm really looking forward to doing this. Hey, happy little rat. Let me go ahead and describe it in a little bit clearer form, but to do that, I'm going to open it up in Zernal, and let's go ahead and get started. Okay, so what exactly is this? So the simulation title is like Awkward Orchard. I have the story to go along with it, but honestly, this thing is so cool. I don't think it really needs a story to introduce it. I think we can just go ahead and just introduce some mathematics, and I think it can be quite cool on its own. But I do have a story to go along with it. Okay, so let's go ahead and open up a new Well, actually, I already have that opened up. Let's go ahead and get started. So, you're at the origin. You're here. Dagnabbit, every day. Every single day I have to reset the journal. I don't know what happened. Okay, let's bring it over here. Okay, so you're at the origin, right here. Okay. You're trying to see which trees you can see in the forest. And so, you can see one tree at this point right here. And this point right here corresponds to 1/2. Okay? So, this corresponds to 1 over your x plus y coordinate, which is going to be 1 plus 1. Okay? You can also see this one up here. And this is going to be 1 over 3. Again, 1 plus 2, and 2 is your y coordinate. And this one up here, which is going to be 1 over 4. You can see everything going in this direction. So it's going to be over here. Let's say this is going to be 2 over 3. And this one's going to be 3 over, 4. But you cannot see this guy back here. Because as you're looking, you have some sort of spread of your vision. And this tree right here blocks all points behind here, right? So this means that you can't see this guy. And this guy, with the coordinate system we've chosen, is going to be 2, 4, which reduces to 1/2. So this is a very simple way to visually represent how you could reduce fractions. So, how do we create this graph? Well, super good question there. I don't actually know the best way to create the graph. I mean, what we could do is we could do a ray tracer, and we could sweep through and we could say, okay, with this ray tracer, we can easily reduce fractions. But I feel like the ray tracer is probably a little bit more difficult to create than just a graph of reduced fractions. Why? Because I actually do know how to reduce fractions, and it's incredibly easy and intuitive, and, well, not easy or intuitive, but it's incredibly cool. Like, I looked up a couple of these reduction algorithms the other day, and I was just blown away by how simple and straightforward they are. I mean, obviously, people have been doing this for probably centuries or whatever, but it's really cool. Like, it's amazing that when you look at the algorithm, you're like, no, that can't work. And then you implement it, and it's like, that actually works. Wow, that's really cool. And that's kind of the situation we're at right here, where we have like some sort. I have 3 different ways to find this reduced fraction that I want to show you guys, and I'm really looking forward to this. Like I realize I don't normally stream on weekends, yada yada, but I'm trying to get my sleep schedule set so I can keep waking up in the morning. But today's gonna be fun. Okay, so let's do new page before, and let's talk about how to reduce a fraction. 1 second, fractions. Okay, so let's just talk about a fraction. Let's say 15 over 25. Okay, obviously this fraction reduces to 3 out of 5 because we can divide both of these guys by 5. But how do we find that 5? Well, I've got a couple methods here, all of which follow an algorithm known as Euclid's algorithm. So let me go over here and let me just look up Euclid's algorithm so I can send you guys a link. 1 second. Something like this. I'm sure it's here we are. Okay. Yep. Euclidean algorithm. Here we are there. And here's the orchard guy, just in case you guys did not. Oop, that wasn't what I meant to do. And here's the orchard guy for your guys' reference. Hopefully we'll get the visualization of the orchard done today, and then we can do the other stuff tomorrow, which is, I hope, going to be creating an emergent phenomena from the Euclid's orchard. I'm pretty excited about that one, actually. I'm super excited for it. Anyway, so we know that this reduces to that. Let me go ahead and show you guys one implementation of Euclid's algorithm. So basically the idea here is that we're trying to find the greatest common factor between these two elements. If, for example, we have 5 over 7, the greatest common factor is 1. And if the greatest common factor is 1, we know that it cannot be reduced further. Yeah, feel free to paste a political link. I've no problems with that. I'm slowly reading the elements. That's fine. Okay, so let's go ahead and do one algorithm. New page before. So we'll say Euclidean algorithm 1. Let me see, open link. This is going to be a little bit rough, isn't it? The Clinton Foundation shuts down Clinton Global Initiative. Clinton Foundation's long list of wealthy donors and foreign government contributors during the 2016 election provoked critics to allege conflicts of interest. Clinton's partisans defended the organization's charitable work and dismissed claims that it served as a means of Clinton's to sell off access, market themselves on paid speech circuit, and elevate, geez, I cannot read, the brand as Hillary Clinton campaigned for presidency. Yeah. I'm sorry. Look, I'm not going to sit here and defend our presidential candidates. They were both crap. They were both absolute crap. Yeah, foreign governments began pulling out of actual donations, signaling the organization's clout as predicament of donor access. Yeah. So, look, Trump was bad. I think Hillary Clinton was marginally better. I mean, would have been marginally better. But I don't know. I don't think we ended up with the better or the bad. Have you seen... Gosh darn it, have you seen Trump's cabinet picks? Oh man, they're so scary. One of them, for example, Department of Education, at least from what I hear, and I listened to some of the confirmation hearings, she doesn't seem to really know her stuff at all, and seems to be a fundamentalist Christian who really believes that we should be putting Christianity back in school. Now, coming from someone who grew up in the Deep South, well, not the Deep South, but definitely the South, I remember being told in science class that evolution is just a theory, and that we don't necessarily have to believe in it. And you know, when you're told in science class that you don't need to believe in science, you, at least I, went through the situation where I continually thought that science was a bunch of crap, like just not something I needed to listen to, because scientists didn't know what's what. And because scientists didn't know what's what, basically I was taught that I could believe whatever I wanted, you know? And so I remember going through high school and thinking that the only thing that was real is what you believe in. So if you believe strongly enough, you can basically negate all of science. You just have to believe strongly enough. And I thought that's how miracles occurred in the Bible. I mean, this is actually something I thought, you know, for the longest amount of time. And this is the type of thing I really, really don't like. I really don't like that idea that people think that, first of all, they think that science and mathematics is boring because they've been taught it in such a silly, like for example in math class, you know, I remember in math class, going through math class, and I know I was the odd one here. Everyone else was taught a single way to approach a problem, but every time we hit a problem, I was never really able to understand what the teacher was saying. Maybe it's my own problem with lectures, so I would always come up with my own unique approach to solve the problem. And this allowed me to be creative in math and science, and this is why I enjoyed math and science. Literature, on the other hand, I couldn't really be that creative with, because the teacher was always, you know, looking for one particular answer. You know, they were always looking for one way to interpret the book, and that always drove me nuts, because it was always like, well, I could interpret this in literally any way I want. Why on earth would I interpret it in the way you want me to? Math and science, though, were always classes where I could be a little creative. I could always think outside the box. I could always try my own solution. And this is something that I think most people see the opposite of. They think they can be creative in their literature and their art classes. So like we segment society into these blocks, and we say you can only be creative in these blocks. And because you can only be creative in art class, in literature class, in classes that are related to the arts, people just assume that mathematics and science have no creativity in them. But this is completely false, in my opinion. Anyway, point is, that's one problem with the educational system. Another problem is that we just, again, at least in the South, teach kids falsehoods. You know, we just teach them things like what I said before, you know? Kids learn to neglect truth. That's about a pain. From an outside perspective, the only thing I really care about Trump is that he seems to not want to start wars. That's about the only good thing I see. Yeah, fair enough. I mean, I don't know. you can't really say anything about Trump because he lies so much. I had an awesome physics teacher in high school. Me and my friend kept coming up with new ways of solving problems. They were known, of course, just not taught in the textbooks, and he courage discussed it. Yeah, that's the coolest thing. Like, for example, I still remember in my physics class, holy cow, there was this one way to solve a problem. We had to derive this range formula or something like that. But I was like, no. We don't have to derive a range formula. What we can do is we can actually do this weird thing where we count up all of the blocks on the inside of, like, basically a ball after it's thrown. Basically, I created this pseudo-integral. And I was like, oh, we can do this. And this would solve the problem. And it'd be awesome. And I did this solution. And I was so proud of it. Because it was something that I just came up with on my own. And I was like, wow, this is neat. I could never imagine. Like, that was how I knew I was learning. Because I was able to just, again, creatively express myself through physics. I mean, that's how I know I'm learning in anything, you know? Hey, Pro and Finto. And also everyone, hey, Happy Little Rat, Gustorn, Nangate, awesome. You guys are all awesome, by the way. Now, let's go ahead and get this algorithm written and describe how it works. So here's the thing. This is... I know, a lot of you guys have already done greatest common factors, I know, so this is probably not going to be particularly interesting to you guys, but I don't have to do greatest common denominators that often, so I almost never have time to stop by anymore. Where do I file a complaint? Well, if you want, we do actually probably still have a, let me see, let me go to the channel, scroll down a little bit. We have, where is it? Info, we have this Google form where you can tell us what the worst event of 2016 is. I'm not really collecting anymore because, well, no, I'm still looking at it, but it's there if you wanna file a complaint. Unfortunately, my university physics was so incredibly dull that I basically didn't care too much about it until I stumbled onto this stream. Well, I appreciate that. First of all, that's really cool. But second of all, I totally agree with you. Like, university professors. Every once in a while, they're awful. Like, man, I remember when I went into college, I took this Calculus 2, which is like sums and series and weird types of integrals and stuff leading up into differential equations and things. I mean, we had this instructor who just didn't know how to teach. And it's fine that you don't know how to teach, right? Professors are usually hired for their research. They're not hired for their teaching ability. But at the same time, if it's in your job description to be an instructor, to teach people how to, well, do physics or do math or do something like this, I really strongly feel that you should at least try at that part of your job, you know? Like, that should somehow be related to your worth in this particular field. Hey, it's GG, what's up? All my instructors are online. To be fair, that's not so uncommon nowadays. Honestly, I think a lot of people choose to learn things online. I know I'm one that I can't really learn something unless I have text in front of me, I read through the text, and I let myself digest it, you know? I actually don't learn very much from lecturers themselves, you know? A lecturer could be the best lecturer in the world, and I'm not going to be able to really understand what they're saying until I sit down with the paper in my hand and I literally just read through it and do what I need to understand the material, you know? And that's how it is, you know? I'm not trying to sugarcoat it. I'm not trying to say that, you know, there are some professors who are just leagues, heaps and bounds ahead of everyone, but I will say this, even though I can't really understand a lecture that well, you know, it's not the way I learn. I am more motivated by instructors who are more motivated. I mean, this is what really got me into doing computer science stuff to begin with, because one of my professors was a professor for information theory. He was this old guy who, yeah, he smoked a lot, so he had his regular, you know, smoky voice or whatever. And he wrote this book on information theory that we were using for our class. And I remember during the class, you know, when he introduced his book, he was like, so here's our book, Information Theory and Data Compression, written by this guy, and this guy, and he pointed to himself, and he was just like, ta-da! It was just, I don't know, it was just fun. He just made the class fun. And yeah, he might have had a little bit of a boring way to speak, but I don't know, I thought it was super cool. I'm in an autodidact I'm an autodidact, and it's hard for me to work in class unless I prepare myself a day before. Yeah, I can understand that one. Good instructors, professors inspire me to actually learn and care about the material. Yeah, I mean, that's it, right? Like, honestly, I had this other professor who, it was his first time teaching the class, and he wasn't really that great at teaching the class, but man, he was enthusiastic about it, you know? And that enthusiasm was what really propelled the class forward. Sure, the class admitted that his lectures were not the best in terms of content, but they were amazing in terms of just getting you motivated to learn, in this case, astrophysics, was what we were doing. And it was amazing. I would have never cared about this kind of stuff had it not been for the instructor sitting there and being like, I really want to teach this material. Like, I don't know, that's really the reason I want to teach a computational physics course at some point. I want to be that one elective course that obviously you don't have to take, but you can take, and you'll be glad you took it. That's what I want. I want a class that people genuinely are inspired to think about the world in another way. You know, I think that's super cool. Anyway, I've been sitting here with Euclidean algorithm 1 written on this screen for a while. Let me just go ahead and write out this function. So this function, and I'm going to call it greatest common denominator. And we're going to read in two variables, a and b. Okay. I'm going to cut some space off over here, so we use that for a little bit later. But here's what we're going to do. We're going to say while a is not equal to b. Here we are. And then we enter that loop. We say if a is less than b, a equals a minus b. Okay? Else b equals b minus a. And then at the end here, we return a. Okay. Okay, that's true. In fact, NAND Gate Awesome, just to talk about this a little bit further, I've really been trying to push OIST, the institute that I'm in right now, to do these online materials. You know, we have these things called skill pills, which I talk about a lot on stream, and these skill pills are great. I mean, they offer very in-depth knowledge about a particular subject in like 6 to 8 hours. So for example, we had one on Fourier transforms, and we had 3 courses that were 2 hours, and we really did our best to make sure that people understood Fourier transforms fully by the end of the skill pill, and that was it. Yeah, the Okinawa Institute of Science and Technology, graduate university. I guess there's also a graduate university at the end, so maybe we should call it OISTQ, but that just sounds weird. You know, OIST already sounds weird. You really have to kind of play with that one in your head a little bit before you're used to saying it, you know? Okay, so let's try this one out. We're going to try 15 and 25, like I said before. So we're going to read in 15 and 25. Okay, so while a is not equal to b. Yep, that's why it always sounds weird, because it's so close to the word moist. And if you Google most hated word, moist is one of the first ones you're going to get. So if a is less than b, we're not in that case. So b is less than a. So that means that b is going to be equal to b minus a. So it's going to be 15, 10. Okay. Now, while a is less than b, that is going to be, let me see. Oh, wait a minute. I think I did this one backwards. If a is greater than b. My bad. Now we have it right. Then we do a minus b, so this is going to be 5. Okay, this guy's over here, still 10, and then we say the bottom one, 5, 5, okay? I hope you guys followed. So basically, I went through 4 different steps. We have 5, 5, and now a is equal to b, and we return 5, which is the greatest common denominator. And because this is not equal to 1, we know that these guys can be factored, or can be reduced further, right? So 15, 25 would reduce into 3 over 5. There we go. This is the cool part. You know, this actually works. So again, we read in 1525, the first iteration, we followed this and we said a is not less than b, right? Because a is here, b is here. So then the next iteration, we had 15 and 10. By doing b equals b minus a. Next iteration, a was greater than b. So we did a equals a minus b, right? To get this one here. After that, we said, okay, well, the next iteration, b, again, is now greater than a, so we go to this loop, and we say b is equal to b minus a. 1 second. I think I did this one backwards. My bad. It should be like 10 5. Divisor. Ah, yeah, I said denominator. I'm sorry. I say denominator all the time, but it is divisor. Anyway, point is, we go through this algorithm, and we get 5. We divide them both by 5, so 15 divided by 5, 25 divided by 5, and we get 3 over 5. And it's just one of those things, I'm just like, wow! Going to have defense of my bachelor's thesis next week. Any advice for making a presentation for it? I would say this. So, I've done a few defenses in my life. I've presented my research a few times. And the one thing that I really think people get upset about, they really get... yeah, don't have a lot of text on the slides. That's one thing. But another thing, don't be afraid to say you just don't know, or that's beyond the scope of my research, or beyond the scope of my knowledge, you know? Like, maybe you don't have so much research, but I know that when I did my defenses up to this point, there have been plenty of times when people would ask me questions, and I'm like, hey, look, that is not the scope of this presentation, you know? Like, I didn't say it in those words, but I'd be like, this is beyond what we could do in this time, or something like this. People are perfectly okay with you saying that you don't particularly know that answer, assuming you're doing a research presentation. So keep that in mind. You know, there will be some things that you just don't know, and you have to be okay with not knowing them. That's the nature of research. Also, that, like what Gustrin said, there are some things in there that you need to keep in mind. Like, I know people who literally their entire slide is filled with text. They have no images, and it's just... I kind of go the opposite way. Ooh, 10 minutes. 10 minutes. Oh my gosh. I hate that. When I went in for the fellowship, we had 10 minutes to do an oral presentation. And again, this fellowship completely funds me for 3 years. So it's like, it's kind of a very important fellowship. Why do we only have 10 minutes? I don't know. It was ridiculous. But that's whatever. It's whatever they decided to do. That's fine. But yeah, it ended up being 6 minutes of presentation and 4 minutes of questioning. I try to... Oh, sorry for that. I try to hit something like that. So if you have a lot of presentation material to... Yeah, rehearse too. If you have a lot of material to put up there, I would suggest really just putting up the stuff that entices questions, you know? Because if you only have 10 minutes, you want them to leave with more questions than you have time to answer. Because then... you can always be like, I ran out of time. Would have loved to talk about this more, and it's not your fault anymore. It's their fault for being too curious, in a way. So I don't know. I'd really try to think about what they're interested in, and shoot for their interests, in a way. So, like, I knew the people I was talking to were very interested in the physics of my project, not the numerics. So I really highlighted the physics, and I was like, the numerics allows us to do this entire simulation in literally 5 minutes, which is amazing, by the way. The simulations are coming in, it takes 5 minutes. It's crazy, because like anyone else takes the full day, 5 minutes. Wow, super cool. Make them feel guilty? Well, no, that's not what I mean. Like, but you know what I mean. Like, yeah, Gustron, I think, yeah, maybe you guys have, I cannot speak today. But yeah, this is... I think you'll be fine. You know, just... Exactly that. Make sure that you let them know there's a whole bunch of stuff that you just didn't have time to go into. You know, just say, I'm sorry, I didn't have time for this, but it's going to be awesome. Like, you know, that kind of thing. There's a whole bunch of other stuff that we could talk about. New page before. Okay, so let me talk about the next Euclidean algorithm. There's actually 3 that I wanted to go through. So Euclidean... Oh my gosh, algorithm. 1 second. 2. Okay, so we're going to do the same thing we did before, so I'm going to kind of parse off this side over here. Now this algorithm is, again, function. Let me just write funct. Or fun. Yeah, let's write fun. That's good. GCD. And this is going to be reading in A and B. You guys know what fun is, right? Fun is a function. Okay, we're going to say if B equals 0, we're going to return A. Okay, else we do the following. Return A mod B. Okay? So, let's do it. Here's the idea. It's oh wait, GCD, I'm sorry. I have this one backwards. Else return GCD of A and then A mod B. That's what we need. Got it. I think I may need a second webcam. I'm sorry, Edge. Good luck. And that's what we need. Dag now is B. Oh my gosh, why am I doing so bad at this? B. That is the algorithm. Right there. Promise. Promise. That's what I have written down. Should work. Let's try it. So we again have 15 and 25 as our A and B. Okay, B is not equal to 0, which means we're in the second case here. So the next iteration, A becomes B. So we have 25 here. And then we do A mod B. So this becomes 15 because A mod B is going to be 15 mod 25, which means we have 25 left over. If you guys don't remember, the moderate mod function is basically like doing that old school division where you kind of have a remainder left over, and the remainder is what you return. So keep that in mind. So now the next step, again, B is not equal to 0. So we say, okay, return greatest common factor. So now we have 15 here. But over here we now have 10, because 25 mod 15 will be 10. Hey, born to be reborn, what's up? Either that, or I need to make some posts on OBS forum to see if there is any trickery on their end, but I really think it's a matter of another webcam. Yeah, probably. Intellect GG. Let me finish this. I'll get to your question in just a second. That one might take some time to answer. So we have 15 and 10. Okay, the next one. This one becomes 10, and we do 15 mod 10. So this one now becomes 5. Okay, next one, this one becomes 5, and we do 10 mod 5, which is 0, and we return A, which is 5. Got it! Haha! Totally got it. Greatest common denominator is 5. Super cool. Okay, Install GG. May I ask how your schedule looks as a PhD student? Okay, so let me be clear in saying that my schedule is not a typical PhD schedule. This is because I get up every morning, or not every morning anymore. I've been super inconsistent lately, but I do get up quite often to do this stream from 5 to 7 in the morning. So my schedule typically looks like this. I get up at 5, I stream from 5 to 7. I work out from 7 to 8. From 8 to 9, I get prepared for the day. This means, taking a shower, making breakfast, making lunch, eating breakfast. Standard stuff. Takes about an hour, all things considered. And then I go to work from 9 to 5, 6, 7, whenever I get home. And then from 7 to 9, I prepare a stream for the next day. So it's literally a full day without any breaks for me, really. But one thing I want to point out is that's because I get up in the morning, and because I count. I really do enjoy reading papers and stuff and learning new things. Like this stuff, this greatest common denominator stuff, which I didn't know about a few weeks ago. Super cool, and I wish I would have known about it before. Yeah, I work out every day because I have horrible back pain. And if I don't work out at least once a week, I actually have such bad back pain that I can't walk across my room. It's pretty bad, and there's nothing I can do about it. So I need to make sure I at least keep my back healthy and happy, and that's fine. Okay, so that's my schedule. Most people, though, they only have the working from 9 to whenever. It is definitely more than a full-time job. It's not 40 hours a week. It is at least 60 hours a week, because I also work weekends. And then there's also a whole bunch of other stuff that people pile on top of you because they're like, oh, you're a student, you're not really working, but you're really getting a lot done, But for the most part, I will say this. It's not so much work, For me, it's research all day. I really do enjoy it. And when I say it's not so much work, it's more learning. You're still opening up a textbook. You're still opening up papers. Like, 1 second. In my book bag right now, I think I have over 50 papers. Yeah, so this is just a paper stack I have in my book bag right now. It's just papers that I've read recently, and I need to keep on hand in case I need to reference them for research one day. So that's something I just keep in mind. It's a lot of reading. It's a lot of just learning on your own, and it's amazing for me because I love learning on my own. But it can be quite challenging for other people. Now, born to be reborn. I need some advice on following a PhD. Is there any grade requirements for a master's in science? So here's the thing. I don't know where you are, so I can only really talk about the programs in the US. But the programs in the US basically work like so. You have the chance to... okay. Master's is a little bit different than PhD. So I know about PhD. For PhD, if you have research under your belt, this will massively, massively help in getting a... becoming a PhD student. Because you've already been doing research, and that's what PhDs are funded for, research. Not funded for education, for research. The nice thing about PhDs, at least in the US, if you're doing a science PhD, you will typically be funded with some sort of stipend. Now, the stipend isn't great, right? I mean, it's definitely less than minimum wage, but you are getting paid to go to school, and that's quite useful, you know? And in the end, you'll have a PhD, and the PhD opens up certain doors. Now, be careful about what you do your PhD in, because certain times, this will not open the right doors for you, you know? Sometimes you'll be overqualified for jobs. Sometimes you'll be left with, I don't know. I don't know why, but sometimes PhDs will harm you in terms of getting a, how do I put this? An engineering job or something like this. So if you come out with a physics degree, you're already kind of gimped for getting an engineering job, but you're okay. If you come out with a physics PhD, you're actually in a worse spot than you were with just a physics bachelor's degree in terms of getting a PhD, because they already think you're indoctrinated into science and you're not going to listen to anything they say. So there is some negative bias towards that, so you have to kind of prove them wrong. So if I do research on my own and publish a paper, will that be an advantage? If you can manage to get your paper published in a peer-reviewed journal, then yeah, that would be definitely an advantage. I see no reason why. I mean, you send the graduate schools, you send them your CV, right? And on your CV, you have a list of all your works, all of your academic works, and that means all your papers. So that's one of the things, right? I would definitely consider, if possible, going through and publishing a paper. Definitely will help. It'll get you into a good program too, I think. Now, your grades do matter a little bit, but they don't matter that much, right? So I was an AB student. I wasn't a straight A student. It wasn't like I was the most intelligent person in my university. But I still got into what I would say is probably the best program I could have gotten into. Like, for me as a person, it's literally based on my own work ethic and dedication to learn. And I'm always super dedicated to learn. I just don't learn very well in lectures. So this place is perfect for me. But it's not perfect for everyone, and I know that. Anyway, just kind of me rambling now. But, of course, guys, if you have any questions, feel free to ask. Weekend stream, so I'm a little bit more relaxed, I suppose. I'm always a little bit more relaxed on these streams, actually. Gustron missed that. I was bitten with some UB at work the other day. There was an uninitialized block of memory somewhere in the program. Some code accessed it. The optimized transformed it into something completely nonsensical. I'm sorry, Gustron. Oh man, during work though, I've been realizing I've been turning into that grumpy programmer, you know? Because like, yeah, sure, Edge, go ahead. You can talk about that. During work, I sit there and I'm just plugged into my computer. I'm just programming. Like, I'm just sitting there. My hands are tick-tacking away, and I'm just programming. And then someone comes by, and they talk to me, and it's just like, I'm always thinking about the problem I was programming before, and I can't really communicate with them anymore. Like, I'm thinking about it, I'm like, oh, no, I need to run this parameter, or I need to change this, or I need to fix this, and it's just like, that's what my thoughts are. My thoughts are all about that. My thoughts are never related to what they're talking about, and I feel so bad about it. I feel so bad because, like, I just can't hold conversations with people during work hours because I'm always thinking about what I need to put into that code or what I need to fix or what I need to do, you know? I don't know. It's just something to talk about. Okay, so let me do the last algorithm and then we'll kind of go from there. New page before. You saw that ASCII chem video? I did. You'll know that's kind of cool. Yeah, sure. But I would like to be able to switch back and forth between normal and ASCII mode. Oh, interesting. And you're not allowed to do this. Okay, so the last algorithm. Let me see. Last algorithm we have. Oh, crap. Oh, crap. That paper stack that I pulled out is covering the algorithm that I need to write down. Okay. Let me go ahead and do this last algorithm, and I will get through the chat after that. So Euclidean algorithm number 3. This time I'm just going to say Euclidean algorithm. EA3. There we go. Look at me. I'm getting lazy. You're going to draw some lines down here. This one works a little bit different. We say function. Fun. You can tell I'm getting lazy. GCD of A, B. Okay? Here's what we do. We say while. One second. B not equals A. What do? We say T equals B. And then B equals A mod B. And we say A equals T. Okay? I don't know why we actually need T. Because we could just say set A equals... No, okay, this is fair enough. We do need T. Definitely need T. Then we say return A. Okay, so this is the algorithm. We'll show it in just a second. Let me attack the comments real quick because I saw a very super interesting question. Do you think that work ethic is more important than IQ, especially in the science engineering area? And then Harrison Parch immediately answered, no, IQ is more important. But I have to disagree. So here's the thing. Okay, in high school. When I was growing up in high school, I was always seen as a very smart person, but I always tried to portray that the idea that I was just intrinsically smart, that IQ just came to me, that I was born with intelligence. But that wasn't true. I spent hours and hours and hours learning on the side, you know? And that's what I did. I've always enjoyed learning. And so whenever a class taught me something, I wouldn't be able to learn it in class, but afterwards I'd read the book and I'd be like, wow, this is super cool. I really enjoy this. This is amazing. Like the nonfiction books, the textbooks I was reading would replace the fiction books that I used to read. So they'd replace my Harry Potter. They'd replace my Wheel of Time series. You know, they'd replace these books. And all of a sudden I'd be like, this is really fun. This is enjoyable. So the next day I would walk in to class. And people would be like, oh, did you do the homework? I was like, oh, not only did I do the homework, in my head, I'd be like, not only did I do the homework, but I also read the entire chapter, outlined it, super amazing, can't wait to get to this part. There's a huge plot twist when, you know, Andrew Jackson is elected president. But, of course, I couldn't say that, because learning was supposed to be boring. So I'd have to be there and I'd have to say to myself, I'd have to say, oh yeah, I did the homework, it was easy, didn't take very much time, you don't have to worry so much about it. I'd have to say something like that so I seemed like a lazy genius rather than a super excited nerd, because if I was a super excited nerd, that would not be socially acceptable. Okay, so to attack this question in another way, I really do believe that the more you learn, the smarter you are. And I really think that learning is one of those things that you can do at any time, you know? So, for example, an artist becomes better and better at art by doing more art. No matter what their art form is, that's how they learn. That's how they learn. Harrison Parch, that was an awful joke. That was awful. Sorry about disappearing after inciting a rat. That's fine, happy little rat. That is awful. Okay, but point is, that learning process that I mentioned before is the act of becoming better at art. It's the act of becoming better at being alive, I suppose. Is the act of becoming a more learned individual, a more intelligent individual, by actively participating in your own learning. Yeah, that's okay. So let me see. My answer to that question is, if you think you're too stupid, which I definitely do, I always think that I am too stupid to do something. Just sit down and learn things. It doesn't matter what you're learning. Just go on Wikipedia, go to the archive, go to something, pick something that sounds interesting, read about that. Replace your YouTube, replace your Twitch, replace your everything with just 10, 15, 20 minutes a day reading something new, learning something new. And hopefully, eventually, you know, part of the reason I'm doing this is so that I can maybe motivate people to learn in this way. Just motivate people to enjoy learning, you know? And that's kind of the hope. So Edge, I missed your stuff. Because you add a cam midstream, it will be desynced. Because, oh, yes. Yes, 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 I know this problem. So in order to have an entirely synced AV, I think I need a second cam. OBS does not cause a desync in the cam. Yep, yep, yep. I totally know that one. Let me take a look at this link. What do we have here? The problem. Terrence Sejanowski? I'm sorry, I can't pronounce that name. Every time you look at the world around you, pay attention to something new, anticipate the future, or recall a memory, a unique set of electrical signals sweep through your brain. That's fair enough. How do these pulses contain all the information necessary to form a thought or memory? The sheer quantity of billions of cells and exponentially more routes that a signal can take as it zips through the brain makes it hard to answer this question. Of course. Yeah, so this guy, I think, I'm not sure why he was linked, but he definitely talks about, this is a typical learning lab in neurobiology, I think. Work ethic can be partially acquired, IQ is not. What is awkward orchard? Oh, I'm sorry. Let me finish this. I've been rambling for an hour. I haven't even gotten to the code yet. Dag nabbit. So let's finish this, and then I'll get to the awkward orchard. Research on learning, definitely. There's a lot of research on learning. Super cool stuff. I pulled a full score on the IQ test once. It was discarded. I memorized the answers. Oh, man, IQ test. When I was younger, I took an IQ test, and they were like, oh, you've got an IQ of 156. I was like, no, I don't. That's completely false. Okay, so let's go ahead and do our 15 and 25 again, following this algorithm. Okay, so greatest common denominator, A, B. Okay, well, B is not equal to A. B is not equal to A. We set T equals B, and then we set A equals T. So next iteration, A will be 25, and B will be 15, like we had before. Next iteration, we have 25, 15. So next iteration, it'll be 15, 10. Next iteration, it will be 10, 5. Next iteration, it will be 5, and 0. And then we return A to get 5. This is almost the same thing as before. It just does it in a non-recursive way. So we still have 5 steps, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Down here we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Same steps as before. The only one that's different is this Euclidean algorithm 1, where we only have 4 steps. So, yeah, sure. This one also makes a little bit more intuitive sense for me because it uses subtraction instead of mod functions. So that's kind of what we do there. Now let's talk about one last time what this means. Page, new page before. Okay. I am at 0, 0. I am at the origin of the universe. I can see everything. And of course, this means I can see the Garden of Eden. Garden of Euclid. And his garden has an orchard in it. Is that how that works? I don't know. Anyway, there is an orchard around here. I don't know what I'm saying. Point is, there's an orchard right around here. Okay? This orchard is filled with points. So I'm going to draw a whole bunch of points. Here, 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 here. And I'll just fill in this guy. Here, here, and here. Okay. At 0, 0, I can only see a certain number of trees. Okay? Now the question is, which trees can I see? And this is the coolest thing about this algorithm that we just did. We just did stuff about greatest common denominator, or greatest common divisors, which I still screw up all the time. And I'm telling you that as long as these trees are evenly spaced out on a grid, we can actually answer this question based on the greatest common divisor that we said before, based on whether a factor can be reduced. Okay, so here's the idea. Trees we can see. We can see this guy right here. This guy is at position 1, 2. We can see this guy right here. He's at position 1, 3. We can see this guy right here. He's at position 1, 4. The positions are simply x. 1 second. Let me see. So 1, 2. Yeah, x over x plus y. That's what it is. So over here, it's going to be 2 over 3. And here, it's going to be 3 over 4. We can see all of these guys. But one guy we cannot see is this guy. 2 over 4. And it reduces to 1/2. So based on our field division, right? Like we said before, there's some sort of field division here, and it is hidden behind that tree, right? Sorry, I'm very bad at drawing this, but it's hidden behind that tree. So we would say another tree we cannot see is this one back here, which will be at position 3, 6. Now, of course, we can also see this tree right here, which is at position 3, 4. And we can see this guy right here, which is at position, let me see here, 3, 5. Basically, guys, what we're doing is we're implementing something known as Euclid's orchard with Euclid's algorithm. And Euclid's orchard, super cool, basically is just, like I said at the very start of the stream, it's a list of all the points that we can and cannot see. And it's just super cool. It's like, wow, we can actually visually see how to reduce elements based on the trees that we can and cannot see in this orchard. I don't know why, but it just blew my mind when I figured this out. It's 2/5. You might be right. Let me see. 2. You're right. It is 2/5. My bad. You're right, Stellar7. Thanks for watching and commenting on that. Okay, that's what we have. This is what I want to implement. Now, the awkward orchard comes in a little bit later. There's a story I wanted to tell about this, about some guy who's just walking through Euclid's forest, and he sees someone, just at the origin, 0, of this forest. And this person is like the most beautiful person they've ever seen in their life. The most beautiful person. Like, they are just stunned by their beauty. This person is sitting down on maybe a stump and writing a notebook or something, just being some beautiful person in the forest, and you know, picture a scene with the sun glowing on their face or whatever. And this guy, being the awkward person he is, just stares. The beautiful person looks up. This guy, as awkward as he or she is, doesn't know what to do, so he runs. Just absolutely runs. And he has a question. How far does this person need to run such that that beautiful person that he's running away from being so awkward will never be able to see him again? Like, no matter where he moves in double space, they won't be able to see him. So that's the idea. He wants to go as far away as possible such that no one can see him anymore. That's what he wants. And that's the idea. Yeah, stupid question, born to be reborn. Feel free to ask me that question. I hadn't seen it before. Yeah, it is super cool, isn't it? It's like, wow, it's super amazing. Oh gosh, it blew my mind. Like, when I found it, I was like, there's no way. There is no way. And then I figured it out, and it's like, wow. Wow. I don't know. Like, I don't know. To all those people who say, like, learning math is boring, they might be true if they're learning it from a lecture class, but how can you not find this amazing? Like, it's so cool. Anyway, I'm hoping to get this visualization done today, just the visualization of the orchard itself, and tomorrow we can actually tell the story of the awkward guy in the forest, kind of moving forward from there. It's just, I don't know, I'm super excited about this. I don't know why, it's just super cool. Okay, so let's pop this over here, pop that over there, and CD into projects, Simuleos, and we're going to make a new directory, and it's going to be Euclid. There we go, CD into Euclid. That's not how you spell Euclid. There we go. CD projects, Simuleos, and Euclid. Okay, so what I'm going to do very quick is copy over a makefile and go from there. Yeah, actually, it makes perfect sense once it's explained, but actually when I saw it the first time, like 2 nights ago, I was trying to think of the best way to visualize this, the best way to describe this particular algorithm, and I didn't have a way to do it. I was like, what do? Do I just sweep through and figure out? And then I was like, wait a minute. Oh, I get it now. And it's just so cool. I don't know, man. I don't know. All those people who think that learning is boring, like, I just don't get it. I don't get it because, like, it's so cool. It's just like, how do you not find this cool? Anyway, my bad. I realize I'm going really nerdy now. But let me just go ahead and do an ls of the previous directory back here. And let's copy over some makefiles. So let's do a quick CP. Because we are going to be doing some visualization scripts, let's just copy that makefile over here so we don't have to worry about it so much. Last function we did. What on earth? What were we working on before this? We were working on, did it start with an A? Affinity propagation. And let's go ahead and copy the makefile over here because screw it. I need to find a better way to do this, but I don't care. Okay, so in this makefile, if you're not aware, it has a couple of different things to basically build this with Cairo, which is our visualization library that we use. Now, if you have any questions, feel free to ask. We're getting into the coding portion of this, so, you know, that's how it goes. Let's pop over here and let's say, Born to be reborn. Didn't you have a question? How is field of view conical? Oh, conical. Yeah, maybe it's not conical. Maybe it's not. But we can still see something like that. My bad. I did not answer that question. Learning's not boring, but math is difficult, especially applied. Well, if the slope is the same as another point, then of course it's hidden. Yeah, this is true. I'm sorry. Yeah, fine. Okay, so let's go here and let's say, still says makefile for Huffman simulation. Let's remove that. Let's go down here and let's say, Euclid is going to be the bin that we create. We're going to create Euclid.o. And that means we're going to have to Euclid.cpp. Pop down here. Let's go ahead and run the Euclid command. And looks to me like that should be okay. Okay, let's go ahead and right click. Let's go into vi Euclid.cpp. Gonna go ahead and start the file like I do all files. So just very quickly put a comment block up top. Euclid.cpp. And then we go from there. Again, guys, if you have any comments, questions, concerns, feel free to let me know in the comment section or the chat box. And I will totally address that as soon as I see it in chat. Implement Euclid's, let's say, how about Euclid's algorithm? Euclid's orchard with Euclid's algorithm. Okay, let's go ahead and pop down here, pop over here, and that'll be done. I'll add notes and stuff like that. I always add the comment block because no matter what, there's always notes that I have to add and things like that. So of course, we're going to have to include IOStream, if I can spell include. And we're going to have to include, one second, probably this guy back here. So let's go back a directory and do visualization. One second, Cairo. And then we're going to want to do Cairo visualization. H for our visualization later. Hopefully we'll get this done today, but we'll see. With the top of my math, with some common use cases, I hated Calc 1 and 2 until I used them in physics. Same thing with graphs, matrices, etc. Yeah, I think there is... When you apply the math to something, it becomes... I don't know how to put this. It becomes, I suppose, easier to understand in a way. Because when you apply it to something, you have something tangible that you can grasp and that you can understand. The mathematics itself is usually quite difficult unless you can relate it to something, or at least I can relate it to something. You know, this is how I learn, I think. Maybe this is why I enjoy physics so much, because it allows me to understand the math better. Maybe, I don't know. Let's keep going. So now I'm going to parse off some stuff for the main function, just so that I have the code blocked up. Let's go down here. We have an hour. I think we can get pretty far. Let me go ahead and open up main. And also, let me just change... I guess I can change this position. This should be fine. Okay. GG, let's go ahead and yank 3 yank. And let's pop down here. Okay, I missed a line. Change this to subroutines because Fortran. Good. A line passing through the origin and with an irrational slope does not intersect A and N. A and N? What does A and N stand for? Point X, Y, where X and Y are both rational. And this is obvious, but when I first noticed it, it blew my mind. Yeah. Oh, any. Yeah. Fair enough. Okay, so let's pop down here. Okay, let's go up here and let's do, let's go ahead and create the functions we need. So we're going to need a function, 1 second, to find the greatest common, oh my gosh, divisor of 2 elements. Okay, seriously, as I was writing that word, it was like, I wrote one letter, and then I wrote literally every permutation. See, it's still wrong. It's still wrong. Elements. There we go. I wrote literally every permutation of that word possible, I think. It just, well, not everyone, but I wrote a lot of permutations. Okay, let's go down here. And we're going to have to return the greatest common factor, which we'll say is a double, even though it's in principle an int. I mean, it's going to be an int. Yeah. Yeah, these are all going to be ints, so I think it's okay. So we're going to do int. Let's do GCD. And it's going to read in int A and int B. Okay. Now, the next function we're going to want to create is going to be a function to, how do we want to do this? Is there a GCD? I didn't know that. I'll take a look. Nothing makes much sense before tying it in somewhere, like matrices. Let me look for GCD over here. C++. I did not know there was already a GCD. One second. And GCD. It seems like most people are writing on their own. STD. Let me see. Least it's C++ 17. Oh, I see. I see. I'm just gonna write it on my own then, just because I'm terrified of C++ 17. We can't compile against C++ 17, but I'm terrified there's gonna be something in there that I don't know. I'll do C++ 11 for now, and we'll kind of go from there. So let's do a function to create Euclid's orchard. Okay, so here's where the visualization comes in. Let's see. It's probably just going to be void, and then we're going to want to do Euclid's orchard. Okay, and here we're going to do STD is highly contagious. Yeah, in C++ coding in particular. This is nothing against C++ programmers, but they do have a lot of STDs in their code. So, you know, take that as you will. But, you know, maybe we could clean it up by removing the STDs. That was Julia's perspective anyway. Okay, so, or many other languages' perspective, not just Julia. It was just one that came to mind that was high level. Okay, so let's go and do frame, which is going to be the visualization stuff, and we're going to read in anim. Okay. Now what do we have? We have Euclid's orchard. What do we need here? I guess we want the size of the orchard. The orchard's always going to be a square, right? So I suppose what we want then is a square. Okay, so let's go ahead and read in an int. And I guess we'll call it... I guess we could call it resolution X, but that's not quite right. Let's call it size. This should be okay for now. We'll kind of go through and fix that. So let's go ahead and yank these guys and bring them down to the bottom. So we're going to want to do yank 6, yank, G, oh crap, let me go back up here, yank 6, yank 6, yank, pop down here, paste, there we go, DD, let's go and open up these functions, pop down here, literally the wrong, I don't know what characters I was going for there, but those are not the right ones. Let's pop over here. Let's remove that. There we go. Okay. So that one down there is a void, so it's not too big of a deal. Let me just go ahead and write this greatest common divisor function. It won't take very long. Yeah. So let's do it. While. And we're going to use the first algorithm because it seems relatively straightforward. A not equal to B. And we'll test it in just a second. We are going to say if A is, and I have greater than B. And then we have an else statement in here too. One second. Else. I only have a minor case of STD in my engine, but it's there. Yeah, it's always there. Let's go down here. And let's say if A is greater than B, then we're going to say A is going to be equal to, and should be A minus B. Okay. And then we go down here and we say B is going to be equal to B minus A. Okay. And then we go down here and let's return A. That should be it. Yep. That should be it. Good. Okay. So, and since A is equal to B, we could technically return A or B. Doesn't really matter here that much. There was one case that we didn't check via text a second ago, which is a case where we do not have a greatest common factor, but this should return our greatest common divisor. Jeez, I always say denominator. But this should still be okay. Let me go ahead and go over here. Let's just make it, just to make sure I didn't screw anything up to this point. No, seems fine to me. Okay, so let's go ahead and test this guy, just to make sure it works. So let's go in here, and let's do the following. So we're going to say, let's say int a is going to be equal to 5. Int b is going to be equal to... Oh, let's do 15 and 25, like we said before. So let's do 25, just so we have something clear. Let's do 15. And let's also do 32, just as a random number for C. Okay, now we're going to do std cout, and let's do gcd of a and b. And then we want to do new line, or what tab, and let's do gcd of a and c. Okay, that was erased on accident, my bad. So let's do std cout. 1 second, sorry about that. GCD of a b, and then we're gonna do new line, or tab again. I said the same problem as last time. GCD of AC, and then we should do new line. Okay, let's go here. Let's make that int. Oh, oops, wrong notation. 1 second. Okay, this one makes, it says 5 and 1, which is exactly what we wanted to see. The greatest common divisor of 15 and 25 is 5. The greatest common divisor of 15 and 32 is going to be 1 because they are both, well, clear objects. Okay, so now we actually have to do this visualization here. So what are we going to do for that? Well, I think what we're going to do is we are going to go ahead and read in all the stuff we need to initialize our frame. Our animation frame, and we can just go ahead and get started with the animation. Shouldn't be too hard. I think we'll get that done by the end of today. I mean, we've got 45 minutes left. Let's just go at it. Okay, so let's go ahead and initialize the frame and stuff in here. So I know there's a couple things we need. We need int FPS, which we're going to set equal to 30. We need an int, or is it a double? 1 second. Well, that's not what I meant. Let's go down here. There we are. Yes, grit. I'm sorry, guys. Okay, there we go. It's all initialized. Whoa, it's amazing. Whatever. Okay. So what are we gonna do? We are going to now read in Euclid's orchard. So let's do Euclid's orchard. And we're going to draw it on layers of 0. Oh, 1. Sorry about that. And int size we're going to say is 5. Just to get this guy, get the ball rolling here. Okay. So what do we want to do? I think what I actually want to do is up here, I want to read in 2 different colors. So we're going to say color, on color, off color. Okay, that should do. And now I'm going to go down here, read these guys in there. And this is just going to be 2 different colors, so we know if we can actually see that point or not. Actually, this seems relatively straightforward, so we'll probably be done pretty soon. Okay, so let's pop down here. We don't have that much visualization to do, so let's say the first thing we're going to do, first we will animate growing the orchard. Actually, yeah, let's just do it this way. We'll just animate growing the orchard, and then we'll color some of them based on what we can and cannot see. Or we could just do the whole thing at once. Yeah, for now, let's just do the whole animation with the colors, everything. We're just going to do it all at once, okay? It's not going to take too long. So, we have to give all these guys a certain position, but that should be okay. And we have to grow the circle at the right spot, but that should also be okay. So, I think, yeah, I think we're good to go. So, let's just go down here. Let's say 4. 5 by 5 is 25, so let's say int I equals 0. And again, this is going to be a square, so we need 2 for loops in here. I is going to be less than size. I++, pop down here. Chat got super quiet, and I feel kind of bad about that. My bad. So we're going to say for int j equals 0. Then we're going to do j less than size. I think my hands are cold. I think that's why I'm not able to type right now. Then we're going to do j++. And we're going to pop in here. And we're going to say the following. So now we just have to give these guys a vector position for each of these circles that we're going to draw. So let's go down here and let's say vec location. Okay, and this vector position should be the position of the circle itself. So what does that mean? We will say that location.x is going to equal, no problem. I'm programming physics, if that makes you feel better. Of course. No, guys. Sorry. The only way I know that people are following is whether I see chat, you know? So I'm not trying to like coax people out of chat. I'm just saying that it was something I mentioned. I should stop mentioning that because all it does is make people want to chat. As for hands cold, a broad pair of fingerless gloves for coding. Are fingerless gloves actually that useful? I feel like the fingers are the part of my hands that are actually cold, you know? Maybe that's wrong. Oh, by the way, guys, I showed you that paper sack just a second ago, right? I bought a tablet, like, almost literally a month ago. I bought this tablet. And it was supposed to come in, like 3 weeks ago, you know? So, I recently, as of last week, I sent them a message, and I'm like, dude, where's my tablet? And they were like, oh, it's at our factory. I was like, what do you mean it's at your factory? You said it would come in 3 weeks ago. And they're like, yeah, apparently it was sent back. So I'm like, well, what the heck? Why are you... I don't know. It was just frustrating. It should be coming in next week, apparently. If it's not coming in next week, I'm going to have to do something. I don't know what, because technically I've already paid for it, and I don't know how to get a refund or anything like that. It's going to be a pain, and I hope it's not going to be a pain. I'm thinking of how I want to do lead in and outs with the ASCII thing. I think I could do it with video games and a bunch of pre-made stuff, but I think I have more dynamic. I think having it more dynamic would be better. Yes. I think that's kind of up to you. Fingerless gloves are great. It's amazing how much it helps. Maybe I will do it then. I mean, it doesn't get too cold in Okinawa, so I don't have that much trouble with it. But I'd really like to live in a cooler place after this because, I mean, I'm like wearing shorts and it's winter time, you know? These gloves help keep my joints warm. Yeah, okay. That's enough for me. Besides, Ash Ketchum wore fingerless gloves, so, you know, that's good. Okay, so location X. This is what we're going to do. We are going to assume the following. We're going to assume that this is somewhere on our grid. So let's do location X is going to be equal to 1 second. Got to think here. Animation dot resolution X times the ratio that we're dealing with here. So let's also give it 0.9. So we kind of shrink it a little bit so it fits onto the radar. Then we're going to have to multiply it by I, which is going to be for X. Let's do I. Yeah, it's going to be I divided by size. So let's do double of I divided by size. And I think this will do it. If not, we'll have an integer division problem, which will be very easy to see. We're going to add plus 0.05 times animation.resolution X. And that should be it. So let's do yank paste for Y. It's going to be RY. That's going to be RJ in a second, but let's go ahead and change this. And I'm going to have to add semicolons at the end of both these because I forgot. So let's go down here and do RJ. Add a semicolon there and a semicolon there. Where's my semicolon? RX. I'll update how I like them after more time trying. They're dirty cheap. I mean, that's fair enough, right? I don't know. I'm really starting... I really like, basically, my life right now. Like, my life is awesome. Like, yeah, sure. Sometimes I have trouble getting up in the morning for stream, and I apologize for that. But, like, seriously, I literally just learn every day. Like, all I do is I sit down and I learn things. And if I'm not learning things, I'm researching and I'm programming and I'm still working things out. Like, I almost feel like... I don't know, any programming related research job I think I'd really like. Okay, also let me change this location because I just realized it should be location X and location Y. What is happening with my mouse right there? It's like, I'm not touching anything, but it's fidgeting. Okay, we're good. We're good. Let's go in DD. So let's pop down here. We have the location set. So now we just have to actually grow the circle. So let's do that. So now we're going to do, I guess, just grow each individual circle and see what happens. So grow circle. And I guess we'll give it a particular location and color. Now here's the thing. I just realized the grow circle function does not have the ability to read in a color. So what we're going to have to do is change that one up real quick. So let's go ahead and do this. We're going to say up here, we're going to say color. Use color. Pop down here. We're going to say if. Let's do GCD of, and it's going to have to be I, and then I plus j, not equal 1. Then we can see the color, so we're going to read it in as on color. Use color equals on color. Then we're going to have to do an else statement in here. Pop down here. Virtual force feedback on mouse. So advanced. Yeah, my trackball is so advanced. And then we're going to go down here and we're going to say use color. It's going to be equal to off color. Okay, so now we have everything basically set for the grow circle command. We just have to update the grow circle command. So let's go ahead and do that. VI. And let's go back into visualization. Cairo visualization.cpp. And now let's see, we have grow circle somewhere in here. Grow circle. Here we are. We have grow circle, and again, these guys read in weights, but I should have one that reads in a color. Grow square reads in a color. Grow rectangle reads in a color. Yep, but grow circle does not read. Yeah, okay, that's fine. Okay. So I guess what I'm going to do is I'm just going to very quickly create an overloaded grow circle function that reads in a color. Maybe. Yeah, you're probably right. Actually, if we're just doing red and green, where do you want to work after finishing a PhD? This I haven't decided yet. There's a lot of places I could go. Actually, I don't know. I mentioned this last time. Now that I have a pretty good fellowship behind me, I feel like I can work pretty much anywhere in Japan that I want to go. I mean, not anywhere, but there's some places around here. Like, I can go to a top institute in Japan. I'm already at a top institute in Japan. And so I could definitely go there. I could go back to the US. There are some places that I definitely want to go back to because I've been there before, and I know that the people there are fantastic, and there are fantastic centers for computational physics there, and that's something I really want to do. But in the end, like my end goal, I really feel like I'd want to be a professor somewhere. Like I really want to just be able to teach a course, do research all day. Like that just sounds amazing to me, And sure, eventually I'll stop doing research and I'll start managing research. I get that that's how the natural progression goes, but even that's fine, As long as I have something that I'm doing on the side, some little research that I'm doing, that's enough, just a little bit a day, something to chip at, I like that. I like that idea. Okay, online course. I could do an online course, So ideally, I continue doing research after this. That's the hope. And I think I have a pretty good CV to do that. But if that doesn't happen, I can probably find a job in other places, I think I have a pretty good skill set. I hope I have a pretty good skill set, rather. So I think I'll be fine in terms of getting a job. I'm stuttering like crazy, but I think I'll be pretty good in terms of getting a job. I mean, yeah, I'm not the best programmer out there. I know that, but I'm not awful, So I like to learn math. I like to learn just anything, basically. There are some places in biology that I kind of feel like I could live without learning this stuff. So let's go ahead and create these grow circle functions. Yeah, it's gonna be a pain though. I could create. Let me change. Here's what I'm gonna do. I'm going to create a grow circle function in here. So let me go back a second. Right, 1 second. Let me, while I'm in here, really leave a comment. Grow circle. Okay. So let's go ahead and cd back a couple directories and let's do some things. Right and quit. Cd visualization. Cairo visualization.cpp. What? Oh, obviously not a directory. Cairo. Same thing over here. cd visualization. Cairo viz. Oh, I did it again. Hey, I care. Thanks for coming in. From basic stuff like calculus and trig, because I look forward to working in AI and neural networks. Do I need a lot of math for that? I have no idea. I think other people can tell you whether you need math or not for neural networks, but you do. You need a good bit of math. For the most part, though, it's let me see. You also might. I've only done very basic things with neural networks. I haven't done anything crazy, but yeah, definitely for really any type of programming, you're definitely going to have to know a decent amount of math. Not a crazy amount, but enough, you know? Okay, so let's go ahead and go into the code here, and let's fix this guy up. So let's go into vi Cairo visualization .h, and let's go ahead and create a few more functions. So let's go down to grow circle. Let's see, what do we have here? Grow circle. I'm just going to yank for yank, paste, and here what we're going to do is change these to color. Let's do circle color. Go down here. Let's do color. Color. Circle. Color. Let's just go ahead and keep notation the same. Something like this should do. Okay, let's pop over here and let's go into vi Cairo visualization.cpp. Let's add these functions in. Let's go to grow circle. Okay, so this actually isn't going to be so bad to do. Here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to pop in here, and I'm going to go ahead and create those functions. So we're going to say void. Actually, let's just do dd. Copy these guys over here for now. Okay, so we have these guys set. Let me go here. Open this guy up. And open this guy up over here. Okay, here's what I'm going to do. Wow, how can you code without syntax highlighting? I'm sorry, I always have. You don't need any math for implementing neural networks. I read some neuroevolution papers that are pretty math heavy though. Fair enough. My idea is to work on how they can be improved using a machine in using in a machine learning AI. I think this is a lot of people are studying neural networks right now. It's very, very common. So I think I may have get my hands dirty in algorithms. So yes, you probably will. I mean, algorithms are super important, right? Let me see. What are we doing here? Adding color map. What do we have? Yes, that's what I need to do. So here's what I need to do. I need to use this to change the color. Set source RGB. So if we read and await, I then change the color here. And then we do the Cairo fill and everything outside of that. So let me grab this. Let me go to the top here. And for this guy in here, what I want to do is paste it here. Okay. Let's go ahead and remove some spaces here. So let's do 4x. There we go. And what do we have here? Yeah, maybe that's true too. I think you're right. Oh, I think I might have to get my hands. Yeah. Yeah, it depends on which algorithms you're coding really, but you're right. So this is RGB, this is setting the ramp. Then I want to go down here and we basically want to set a color. So let me see, set source RGB, animation frame context. I want to change this to a color. So what do we have here? Let's go here and let's create up here. And we're going to create color, circle color. pop down here, and I'm just going to go down here. I'm going to say circle color. It's going to be equal to the following, and it will be, I guess, just this guy here, right? Yeah, has to be that. Okay. Let's go down here. Let's do the same thing. Color. It's going to be equal to. And let's add that guy there, and add a semicolon there, and a semicolon there, and remove these lines here. Now at the end here for grow circle, I'm actually going to remove the weight and change this to circle color. Okay, I'm missing some things. Complexity theory stuff, big O notation. Fair enough. Complexity theory is complex in its own right without any advanced math. I should still probably make that video on complexity. Yeah, I should probably do it. Do you think big data, data mining, data analysis are a good field to go to? I know there are a whole bunch of people. Distortioner. I know that there are a whole bunch of people who do really, really need a lot of that stuff, you know, in computational physics or not. Well, okay, experimental physics. Like, for example, how do I put this? The big, large hadron colliders, the people who are sifting through trying to find particles and things like that, they have a lot of data to go through. There is a heck of a lot of stuff to do. Instalock GG, thanks for coming in, and I will see you later, I guess. Really appreciate it. So, let's see. It's the next big thing. It's the current big thing. I mean, I think people are currently going through and really learning their stuff there. Let's write this, go over here. Let me do a quick right quit. Make it, just to make sure it still makes just fine. Looks like we have some problems here. Temp weight. What do we have here? Let's go to card visualization 103. Temp weight is equal to weight times 0.4. I guess I failed to create that. So let's go down here. So you double temp weight. Anything else I forgot? Circle color not declared. That is because these have to be like this. Make. I was not declared in the scope animation frame context. This is because I probably don't need this guy. It's probably just this guy and this guy that I need, which means I can probably bring this up here and DD there, and I can bring this up here. But now it looks to me, ooh, that wasn't what I meant to do at all. Grab this, put this there, DD, and it looks to me like I'm going to have to add in a 0 because I think, yeah, 0 here. Oh, a 1 there, my bad. And a 1 here. Let me see, what did I miss? I find it pretty hectic. A simple Hadoop will kill my brain cells forever. There is a lot of stuff to deal with. I'm not pretending it's easy. Let's make that. It does seem to make. So that seems okay. So what I'm going to do for now is I'm going to... Basically, let's see, we have start frame, end frame, animation time. I learned the stuff in my... Okay, I see what we need to do then. What I need to do is I need to go in here and I need to switch two things. So I need to change this to circle color. Change this one up here to double weight. That's a long one. So let's do this one as double weight. Let's go down here, change this to a color. Sorry about that. Okay, so now that we have the double weight up here, what I basically want to do is grab this, pop it down here, and copy this guy that we have before, just changing the commands ever so slightly, such that it now fits this guy. So instead of animation current frame, we now read in start frame. And down here, we read in end frame. There we go. And this should basically do it, I think. Vector origin, radius, yes, that looks good to me. So let's go down here and let's go ahead and fix this up. I missed a lot of stuff. It's just that, as this guy is mixing programming with physics, I love programming in finance. like financial markets and all that kind of stuff. Yeah, to be fair, there's a lot of money to be made in finance. Not just because it's finance, but also because there's a lot of money to be made in finance. So like, it's really cool too. There's so much cool stuff out there, you know. Like, I hate it when people they just assume that there's like nothing interesting about the world. I don't know why. It's just like every once in a while, like when I go home, I always get these people. When I go home to the US, I get these people who are just like, oh, you're just a boring stick in the mud who doesn't like doing anything. I'm like, no, I just like learning things. I just like learning. I don't know. It's so cool. So cool. I'm sorry. Maybe I should quit. Okay. Anyway, let me go. So now I can probably remove these lines in here. I can just go ahead and set source and Cairo fill. So let's do that. Let's go here and let's do Cairo set source. Source, I guess I can do RGBA, right? And let's do animation frame context of I. Just like before. And now we're going to do circle color dot RGBA. Yeah, let's just do it. G. And I'm going to do B and A down in the next line. B and A. And now we can probably remove these lines up here. Okay. Cairo fill, that should do it. So let's pop up here to the grow circle command again. Let's see, what do we have here? Grow circle. There we are. And let's go here and let's just do grow circle. And we want to do anim time. 1 second. I feel like I'm missing something. Am I missing something? No, that's up there. Okay. Then we're going to want to do anim time. Then we want animation. That guy. Make it. It makes. Got it. Okay. So one thing I need to do just to make sure it works. Let me go ahead and go into rankwit vi visualization test.cpp, and let's go ahead and test this guy. So we have grow square, grow rectangle, all this kind of stuff. What I want to do is I want to change one of these functions. Instead of grow square, let's see, what is commented and what's not. This is commented in. So let's change one of these to grow circle. This should do. Let's go ahead and make that. Let's run visualization test. Let's do Mirage. Scroll down. We should see something, but we're not. 1 second. What's commented in? That's commented in. That's commented in. Draw layers is commented in. 1 second. Let's change this back to grow rectangle. Oh, wait, maybe it was grow square. One second. Oh, here they are. They're a little bit later than I thought. Okay, grow square. Let's change it to grow rectangle. All right, circle. Make that. Let me see. What do we have? I'm missing a lot of stuff. It's a little now, but I hope to make it smarter. Wait, I'm currently working on an algorithm to recognize stock patterns. Oh, yeah. Holy cow. This is one of the coolest things to do. My friend is doing that, or trying to do that. It's hard, though. Super hard. So you're using big data? Well, now I'm in school, so wow, you people are so smart. Oh, thanks. Seems good. It's on the very basic force. Intellectually turned on. Okay. And it doesn't seem like working because the patterns I was able to recognize lead me to lose. That's okay. That is okay. You know, just use old data and learn how to learn, I guess. Let's run visualization test. And let's see what we got. I'm going to scroll down. The very last one should be a circle instead of a square. Yeah, look at that circle, man. Look at that circle. Beautiful. Okay, so now we have everything set. Let me just go ahead and write quit. Do a quick git status on this directory. And let's do a git add these guys that we just did. So Cairo visualization.cpp, Cairo visualization.h, and visualization test.cpp. do another get status just to make sure. And seems good to me. So let's go ahead and CD back into the direction we were at before. What about this? One second. Let me open that link, see what we got. YouTube. Asking. Oh, yeah. Edge made this the other day. Super cool. Let's go back and let's do... where are we? We are going to go to... What am I doing? We were doing this earlier. Euclid's Orchard. There we go. Once again, CD Euclid. Where are we? Euclid. There we go. LS. Now let me go into VI. Euclid. .cpp. Grow. There we are. So now we just have to grow the circle on the appropriate guys. So let's do grow circle. And I want to do whatever we just did. So one second. Give me a second. I have to think about this. Visualization, Cairo. Cairo visualization .cpp. There we go. There should be a grow circle. No, I was in the wrong one. Dagnabbit. I was just there. I want visualization test. .cpp. Now let's go down to the grow circle command and let's grab that one. So it's going to be grow circle of layers. Oh, it's just going to be anim because we're already reading in layers of 1. We'll give them 0.5 seconds to grow. We'll give them the location that we want them to grow on. Then we want the size to be 10, and then we want the color to be use color. And that should be that. And then the last thing we need to do after this is all done, we just need to draw the layers. So let's go down here and let's do underneath here. Yeah, draw layers. Okay, semicolon, right, go over here, right, and quit, make, dang it, broke it, missed some stuff. I want to be a terminal being. One second. That's so cool. That's my goal, actually. Transcendence. It seems good. Andrew, I can't pronounce that name, actually. Of Stanford, helped me develop a program for LAPD, Los Angeles Police Department, I guess, that has successfully predicted gang violence outbreaks. Oh, that's super cool. Wow. I was looking at on the net for that. I heard Dubai Police has something similar. Yeah, super cool. Let me go up here. Let's go ahead and check this out. So too few arguments in Euclid's Orchard. Of course there are. That's because I also have to read in 2 different colors. So let's go ahead and read in the 2 different colors as we have square color. But actually I want these to be red and green. So let's change this from square color. Let's just do on color and off color like we have before. On, and why not? Yank, paste, off. And let's do green and red is what we'll do. So red will be off color. So let's change this to a R0. R0. This one's green. Ah, there we go. Then we want to read in on color and off color. Okay, sounds good to me. Last thing we need to do is 66. Okay, so the issue is if I had an extra parentheses. Make that. Okay, seems to be doing something. Let's do Mirage. 1 second. It's doing something. I don't really know what it's doing. Maybe I should top. It's running. I should have output what it's doing, I feel. It shouldn't take this long. It's in a loop somewhere. Oh, it must be stuck up there. It must be. Let me see. Distortioner. It's currently like 4 or 5 terminals, around 5-ish lines of code. I suppose it'll end up being... Oh, I see. 34 lines of code once it needs 1 terminal and runs bot module. Fair enough. I think his name is NAND Gate Awesome. Oh, yeah, probably. Yeah. What had I been calling him? End Gate Awesome? Maybe. My bad. Well, there's just a lot of stuff to learn. Of course there is. What do you mean? All that 5 lines of code? He's on an online lecture series on machine learning. You can share a link, please. Oh, I see. Okay. So the only reason we get stuck is if we're stuck in this while loop, right? But why would we be stuck in a while loop? We checked that just a second ago. Is there some case that I'm not considering here? Let's see. Oh, I starts at 0. I should start at 1. We didn't check the I 0, 0 case. So let's start I as 1. And J as 1. And let's go to size less than or equal to size. Okay, so this means we have to change how we do the visualization here. As instead of I, we need to do I minus 1 divided by size. Yeah, this should be it. So let's grab this. Minus 1. Let's do the same thing down here. Oh, that wasn't what I meant to do. Minus 1. Add a parentheses in there. And let's go ahead and make that. Okay, now it's doing something. There we go. Let's do Mirage. We have the dots appearing. They're all red. So I did it in the opposite order. I think I have red and green mixed up. But that green guy should not be green. Oh, it's flipped. It is totally flipped. We got to reflip it the other way. Wait, no. What did I just draw? Let's change... It actually all looks fine except for this last dot. I think. Let me see. Let's shrink this down a little bit. Let me see. What do we have here? This should be the Euclid's orchard that we were talking about before, but it's not quite there. Okay, so we do see this line, which is good. Let me see. 1, 2, 3, 4. 4/5. I don't think we should see 4/5. I don't think so. Oh. It's upside down. Yeah, that's it. It's upside down. Yep. 1, 2, 3, 4. It's totally upside down. Okay, 1 second. I have to think about this. It's Southeast Asian, I believe. Thanks for the pronunciation. Alright, thanks for that. Okay. I'll take a look at that a little bit later. Okay, so it is upside down. How do we flip it up again? 1 second. We gotta flip it over. How did I do this before? I know I've done this before. So we have the position in XY. Born to be reborn. Oh yeah, that, LOL. Here is what I do to get that. Run a Kaka server in a specific... Oh, this is quite common. I'll let input server and be input FIFO. That infinite loop, while loop, is scripted section of the code. Say around the 5-ish lines. Okay, I see. Okay, so now here's the thing. I gotta flip Y. The reason is because Cairo reads from top to bottom. So the very top is 0, the bottom is the resolution Y. So I need to flip it. So it needs to be resolution Y on top, and the other thing in the bottom. Then we'll get the orchard. Now, the thing is... on color, off color. I had these guys mixed up. So if this is equal to 1... Yep, so this should be off color. And this should be on color. So now let's flip the Y. And then once we flip the Y, we'll have this done. Okay, let me think here. We have... how do we flip the Y? So we could... 1 second. It's going to be J minus 1. But how about we do this the other way around? So it's going to be... it's not J minus 1. That's not what we want. We don't want J minus 1. We want... J is going to be our Y coordinate. So it should be the size minus J minus 1. Okay, let's see. Would this do it? So it's size minus J. Let's try this one. Okay, well, the visualization is correct, but it's way, way too high. Which means the Y parameter is off. NAND gate, awesome. What am I studying? I am actually studying quantum physics. I study this area of physics. It deals with superfluids, basically. So I do vortex manipulation in superfluids and stuff like this. It's actually really cool. Really looking forward to it. We are almost done with... so we just got some 3D code working, which is actually orders of magnitude faster than any other 3D code on the market. Like, super excited about it. It's amazing. Or I'm pretty excited about it anyway. And I think the reason it's off is because we have to subtract here. Make. Let's do Mirage. So I'm super looking forward to getting this code out there. But yeah, it is basically what I just said. So we work with superfluids. Oh, now it's even higher. Should have been lower. Oh my gosh, what am I doing with my life? But yeah, so superfluids and stuff. That's what I do. Okay. Size. Size divided by size would give you a 1. Okay, maybe I have to think about this in another way. So size minus j. Right now I'm just trying things. I can't think about this one for some reason. Mirage. Yeah, so this will give us 4. But I need 5 out of 5. Adding a plus here will give me 5 out of 5, but I'm not sure if that's actually legitimate. I have to think about this one. Okay, so here is our orchard. It is working, I think. Maybe not. This guy I don't think should be red. Let me take a look at Euclid's orchard over here. No, that guy is red. It's 4, 6. Yeah, okay, I was counting wrong. 2, 4, 5, 6. Oh yeah, because it's x plus y. So 1, 2, 3, 4. Oh, it's x plus y. Yeah, there we go. Got it. Okay, done. Okay, now there is one bit of a problem here. The visualization's off center. I have to center it. And there's some other stuff we need to do there. So let me see. How would we center it? Let me see. What if we just do, instead of size minus 1? Or less than equal to size. We have room for an extra guy here. For some reason. Why do we have room for an extra guy? Let me change this. This should shift it by 1. Yeah, so literally it's going to be the same guy as before. Okay, but what I need to do is I need to... Oh, I bet you I know. Let's go here, and then add 1. Give it a second. And... No, that didn't do it. That did nothing. That actually shrunk it. Maybe do size minus 1? X over? It's pretty close to the X over. Ah, there we go. Perfect. Absolutely perfect. So now let me just change the background color to black. And we will have our orchard. And that will be basically it for the day once I fix up the code and commit it to GitHub. That's not black. There we go. Euclid's orchard, guys. So let me try something very, very large. So I'm going to try, instead of 5, let's try 10. And let's change the time it takes to grow every circle. Let's change this to 0.1. Give it some extra time to grow. Make. And then we're going to just run Mirage. I don't think we're going to draw all the points, are we? Oh, we are. Wow, look at that. Look at that. Wonderful. Absolutely wonderful. This is working fantastically. Quite happy with this. Okay, so I think that will be it. Let me just go ahead and comment some things in. Fix this guy up so it's a little bit neater on my terminal. Pop this over here. Pop this over there. And let me see, what do we have to do? I guess all we're doing here is... there isn't really so much to comment here. I guess we're just saying... setting... drawing orchard on 2D grid. And I guess finding location. And setting color. Common divisor. Greater than 1. Growing the circle. Yeah, there isn't so much to comment there. This guy right here is, let's see, Euclid's algorithm. I'll go ahead and pop this down here. R capital E, and let's say algorithm. Just so people have a point of reference. And that is probably going to be it, actually, for today. I think we're good to go. Let's go ahead and G down here. We have the orchard made. We wrote quite a few lines of code, so let's go ahead and do git add, and let's add the make file and add euclid.cpp. And let's go ahead and do a git status. Now, forgive me, guys. You guys are going to hate this. Okay, let me pop all the way up here. Looks like we have everything added in that we want. Let me do a clear ls ls.cpp make file. So let's do git commit -m modifying grow circle command to accept a color and adding Euclid's orchard visualization. Okay, let's do a 156 insertions. No way. Git push origin master. Okay, and with this, you guys should have access to this on my GitHub. There we go. Okay, so let me go ahead and get the chat. Slayer Darth, hello, US based, online, done goofed. I'm not living in the US. And free Slayer. Wow, lots of chat here. I've purchased textbooks though. Stop goofing around. They're accessible online. Too long commit message. What face? Yeah, so the commit message up here is oh, you're talking about the commit message that I just put down? I don't think that's too long. I think that's fine. I usually I need to make a longer, I need to get better at committing. I know I need a better commit comment. I used to be much better at it, but as I've been going through this stream, my commit messages have been getting garbage. I need to fix that. Okay, now what do I need to do? Okay, that's actually for the day though. I think we're done. So guys, I'm going to come back tomorrow. We're going to do more with this Euclid's orchard. We have some stuff I want to test and figure out and stuff with it. But for the most part, the visualization is pretty close to being done. I want to see if there's any emergent phenomenon from larger forests, because I have a feeling there might be. But that is about it. So guys, thank you so much for coming in. Have a fantastic day, night, afternoon, morning, evening, whatever time it happens to be your time. And I will see you around next time for the next episode of Simuleos, when we continue working on Euclid's algorithm and orchard and stuff, and that's where we're gonna go from here. I'm not going to be available so much today because I have to teach programming to kids at an IT summit seminar, something like this. So I'm not going to be available for most of the day. But feel free to check out Discord anyway, because all these fine people are available or are mostly on the Discord server. So just go there, ask to become a part of my channel, and you'll have access to it. It's actually quite nice. So guys, thanks so much for coming in, and I will see you around next time. Bye guys.